I am an outstanding model, and Lucas is the most famous fashion designer. Everyone knows how much he loves me. Unfortunately, a car accident occurred later, and both my parents passed away. My legs were also injured, leaving me unable to walk the runway anymore. Lucas has been by my side the entire time, treating me exceptionally well. He even boldly proposed to me at a media conference and placed a diamond ring on my finger. He told me, "Evelyn, I will always love you and take care of you, never to part." But today, I saw a message from a woman sent to him, which read, "This is my foot today. You like it?" The photo showed a pair of feet with bright red nail polish, looking particularly beautiful. I felt a bit uneasy. At that moment, Lucas was cooking in the kitchen, and I held his phone, unsure of what to do. Seeing the woman's profile picture in the chat window, I felt it looked familiar. Zooming in and examining the edited photo closely, I remembered. Her name is Sophia, a newly debuted model. She's extremely popular. I've watched her runway videos. She performed well, and netizens say she'll be the next Evelyn. However, when I checked the chat history again, I noticed she had deleted the message. "Evelyn, what's wrong? You don't look well." Lucas had finished cooking. He took off his apron and gently hugged me. I lifted my head slightly and saw his tender gaze. We've been married for 5 years, and I've never cooked a single meal. He always does it. No matter what I want to eat, even if it's the middle of the night, he'll get up immediately to make it for me. He's pampered and taken care of me like this for 10 years. Everyone says that when you marry someone, you should marry someone like Lucas. He's the kind of husband everyone admires, and I'm the envy of our circle. With cold hands, I held my phone up to him. "Sophia just sent you a photo of her feet and asked if you think they're pretty." Lucas's expression changed instantly when he heard this. He quickly took out his phone to check. After seeing the message had been withdrawn, he sighed in relief. He put down his phone and smiled indifferently. "Baby, you're getting more sensitive. She must have sent that message by mistake. I heard Sophia has a boyfriend. Maybe she accidentally sent it to me." I silently watched her without saying a word. Lucas saw I wasn't speaking and immediately knelt down in front of me, urgently expressing his loyalty to me. Does he really not know that the only person in my heart is Evelyn? I swear. My eyes and heart belong only to her. If I were to break this vow, I didn't even let him finish before gently covering his mouth with my hand. He seemed to have known I would do this all along. Then he gently kissed the back of my hand, his eyes brimming with deep affection. He tenderly stroked my head and said, "All right, my princess, hurry up and eat. I made your favorite stir-fried shrimp today. If you don't eat soon, it'll get cold." I smiled and agreed. After all, everyone could see how much Lucas loved me. Maybe it was just a wrong message after all. However, later that night, Lucas took his phone into the bathroom and stayed there for a long time. I didn't know who he was talking to, and the call lasted for 2 hours. I kept staring at the bathroom door, wondering what was going on. He had never brought his phone into the bathroom to make a call before, let alone for such a long time. Later, he told me there was a particularly difficult client lately, and if he didn't respond promptly, the company would suffer significant losses. I just forced a smile and didn't say anything. When he fell asleep at night, I secretly picked up his phone in the middle of the night, as soon as the screen lit up. My heart sank. Lucas had changed his phone password. After all these years of marriage, he had changed his password for the first time. The next morning, before I even got out of bed, Lucas had already gone to work. I sat on the bed for a while, then decided to go to his company to take a look. That company was founded by Lucas. He was both the boss and the designer. I hadn't been there since the car accident. "Hey, look, isn't that Lucas's wife? Oh, look at how she's walking now. It's really a pity. She used to be so glamorous. If it weren't for Lucas not minding her, Lucas would really be a good man." I overheard the employees whispering, and it made me feel uneasy. In recent years, I haven't even had the chance to leave the house, let alone go to the company. My feet were severely injured in the accident, and the bones are completely deformed, making them ugly and crooked. I used to be a top model, but now I can't even wear high heels. I felt embarrassed and lowered my head. Suddenly, I froze, seeing 2 people walking toward me, my heart racing. Lucas was holding a pair of red high heels in his left hand and had his right arm around a tall, well-built woman. They seemed to be chatting, and Lucas's smile was particularly gentle. I recognized the woman. It was Sophia. My body swayed slightly, and I almost lost my balance. Lucas also noticed me. The moment he looked up and saw me, his smile vanished instantly. He quickly let go of Sophia's arm and asked me awkwardly, "Honey, why did you come over suddenly without letting me know?" I composed myself, looked at the high heels in his hand, and casually asked, "I was bored at home, so I thought I'd come over to see you. Should I introduce you? Is this your friend? Hey, Evelyn, nice to meet you. I've heard of you. Nice to meet you. I'm Sophia. I came over today to talk to Lucas about some work. I accidentally twisted my ankle and Lucas kindly helped me up. Don't get the wrong idea." Before Lucas could say anything, Sophia started talking. She showed me her foot and shook it gently. Her feet were really beautiful, completely flawless, as pretty as a piece of fine white jade. Lucas's gaze was fixed on her foot, completely ignoring what I was saying. I felt a pang of sadness. I forced a smile. Not expecting this. He meant to say, "Wait until I'm done and I'll take you out to eat." Lucas snapped back to reality after hearing me speak, his expression a bit awkward. He smiled and said, "Good wife, you really understand me." Then he added, "Just wait here at the office. I'll take you out for a nice meal once I'm done." After saying that, he didn't wait for my response and hurriedly helped Sophia into the office. I gave a wry smile and walked into another office in a daze, then opened the camera on my phone. What he didn't know was that I had secretly placed a hidden camera in his office while he was away. Reality was truly frustrating. I saw the man who claimed to love me lock the door as soon as he entered the office. Then, he picked up Sophia and placed her on the desk, kneeling half-bent in front of her, gazing at her feet with a mesmerized expression. Finally, he gently kissed the top of her foot. Sophia laughed happily. She lifted her toes and gently tapped his chest, surprised that Lucas was so interested in this. What a foot fetishist. After all these years with Evelyn, you must have felt so wronged. Her feet don't look very good. I was scared just looking at them. "Watch your mouth, you don't need to comment on my wife like that. And you went too far just now. Next time, don't say so much in front of my wife. And try not to show up in front of her either. I'm afraid she'll get upset." Lucas raised her chin slightly with a cold expression, issuing a warning. Then, he eagerly undid her clothes, pressed her against the desk, and kissed her passionately. "But in bed, you're the one who satisfies me the most. It's as if you've cast some enchanting spell on me," leaving me unable to resist. Watching them embrace tightly, I couldn't help but tremble all over. "Lucas, you've always been so perfect." I clenched my fists tightly, not caring that my palms were bleeding from being scraped by my fingertips. "Lucas, you might have forgotten how confident I once was, even after the car accident. I've become more gentle over the years. My feelings aren't something you can just bully and treat however you want." Wiping away my tears, I watched the entire scene without expression, then clicked save. Opening the door again, I saw Lucas and Sophia just coming out of the office. Sophia looked unsteady on her feet, leaning against the wall in an awkward position. Thinking back to what I had just seen, I almost couldn't help but vomit. Lucas noticed my pale face and came over to support me, asking, "Honey, why do you look so bad these past few days? Should I take you home to rest?" I nodded. After returning home, I said I wanted to use his phone to look up some information, and he didn't suspect anything. So, when he wasn't paying attention, I secretly installed a monitoring app on his phone. This app could view his chat records with others. After finishing, I silently returned the phone to him. He kissed me and said he'd cook me a delicious dinner when he got back tonight, then left. A short while later, I opened my phone and checked the monitoring app. I saw Lucas had already started chatting with Sophia. He said, "Baby, you were so amazing earlier. I almost couldn't handle it. Sorry, Sophia, I'm barely able to walk. My legs are still weak. It's all your fault. Lucas, I'll come find you in a few days. I want you to dress up sexily, and I promise you'll be too busy resting all day." I slowly closed my eyes. Enough with Lucas. I was so foolish, deceived by your fake affection. Now I've come to my senses and calmly saved this evidence. Then I picked up my phone and dialed a number. "Hey, Evelyn." A deep voice came from the other end. "I wanted to ask about the surgery you mentioned earlier. Is it still possible to proceed?" There was a long silence before the voice asked in a low tone, "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" "Why? I thought your husband didn't agree to this." "Yes, I've decided to go through with it. As for Lucas, he won't be my husband much longer." After hanging up, I immediately booked a flight to the United States on my phone. Then she stared blankly at herself in the mirror. She was exceptionally beautiful and had a great figure. However, as her gaze slowly drifted downward, a severely deformed and unattractive foot suddenly came into view. It was also that year that Lucas proposed to me, seeming particularly confident. However, after all these years of marriage, Lucas had never once noticed my feet. Even during intimate moments, he always insisted on turning off the lights. He said it was because he didn't want me to feel upset, that he was looking out for me. But was that really the case? Thinking about him with Sophia, I felt uneasy. I couldn't help myself. I grabbed the high heels beside me and smashed the mirror with all my strength. What a hypocrite, a liar. That night, after taking a shower and lying in bed, I suddenly heard the doorbell ring urgently. I followed Lucas to open the door and found it was Sophia. Lucas first looked at me nervously, then turned around and angrily asked her, "Sophia, what are you doing here?" Sophia saw Lucas' angry expression and couldn't help but shrink her neck. She said, "I was planning to go out with friends, but on the way, I suddenly noticed some big guys following me. This is the closest place to me, so I had to come here. Can I stay here for a while? I'm so scared." Sophia was wearing a tight-fitting dress with a deep neckline, looking very helpless as she looked at Lucas. Lucas's gaze seemed to linger on her for a moment before he finally looked away, his Adam's apple moving slightly. He asked me cautiously, "Should we let her come in and talk?" "We can't take any chances." I observed their expressions and sneered inwardly before agreeing. After Sophia came in, Lucas told her to go take a shower first. A moment later, he suddenly brought me a glass of milk. He said, "Dear, you've been looking pale lately. I specially made you a cup of your favorite honey milk. Drink it and you'll sleep well tonight." I took the milk and looked at him. His eyes were still gentle and affectionate. The wind was strong, so I went to close the window. I pretended to close the window and quietly poured the milk out the window. Turning around, I smiled at him and said, "Thank you, honey. It tastes good." Lucas saw the empty cup and smiled contentedly. After he left the room, I stared blankly at the cup, replaying the conversation from the surveillance software in my mind. Lucas looked furious. "How dare you do that? I've told you not to show up in front of my wife." Sophia sounded a bit spoiled. "I missed you. I can't wait to be pampered by you tonight." It was truly frustrating. Luckily, there was a bottle of sleeping pills at home. I planned to mix them into the milk for my wife and give it to her once she fell asleep. "Then go find you. I hope you behave yourself," I sneered. What a shameless couple. After a while, I lay in bed pretending to be asleep. Lucas came in and called my name a few times, but I didn't respond. He helped me cover up with the blanket and kissed my forehead gently before leaving. After he left, I immediately opened my eyes and turned on the camera feed. A few days ago, I installed cameras in every corner of the house, all for this day. They were so impatient. They started getting intimate right in the living room. Looking at Lucas on the screen, he seemed so unfamiliar to me. I had never seen him like this before. They went to many places, from the living room to the bedroom, the bathroom, the kitchen. I felt like a puppet staring blankly at the surveillance screen. When the recording ended, I silently pressed save. Only then did I realize the pillow was completely soaked. The next morning, they were gone. When I walked into the living room, the table was filled with my favorite breakfast, along with a heart-shaped sticker. "Dear wife, I've prepared a heartfelt breakfast for you. Remember to eat while it's hot, and don't forget your stomach isn't good. I have a meeting today, so I'll head to the office first and drop Sophia off on the way. Love you, your husband." These were Lucas's words. Without any expression, I tore off the note and threw it into the trash along with the breakfast on the table. Then I printed out 2 copies of the divorce agreement. During dinner, while Lucas wasn't paying attention, I secretly added a few sleeping pills to his soup. Then I fed it to him gently. Sure enough, he fell asleep shortly after. I walked over to him, coldly lifted his hand, and pressed it onto the printed divorce agreement. Looking at his peaceful face, I gently traced his eyebrows and eyes with my fingers. "Lucas, our relationship ends here. I won't let you hurt my feelings anymore. Before leaving, I prepared a surprise for you. You'll definitely like it. I opened the chat history with Sophia on my phone. Actually, Lucas didn't know that Sophia had come to see me this morning and added my contact information. Sophia, Evelyn, what right do you have to be by Lucas's side now? Your feet look terrible. You're just a disabled person now. He took care of you out of pity, but you shamelessly clung to him. He said that every time he was intimate with you, he had to turn off the lights because seeing your feet killed his mood. He thinks your feet are the ugliest he's ever seen. What you don't know is that every time he plays with my feet, his eyes are filled with such obsession. I'm the one who truly belongs to him. Once you're gone, I'll take your place and become the real Mrs. Lucas. Seeing Sophia's messages, I gently covered my chest. My heart still aches so much. It's okay. I'll be leaving soon. Time will heal all pain. I comforted myself with these words. Then I sent a screenshot of the message to Lucas with a blank expression. I pulled out the card and tossed it out the window. I threw the phone into the trash bin. I dragged my luggage through the night and boarded the flight to the United States. The next morning, Lucas woke up slowly with a severe headache. He held his head, feeling the pain intensely. When he woke up, he felt something was off. How did he end up waking up at the dining table? And there was last night's dinner still on the table, untouched. What happened? Wait, where's Evelyn? Why isn't she here? Lucas stood up unsteadily, thinking about finding his lover, but she wasn't there. I searched every corner of the house, but there was no sign of her. He felt that everything related to him had been thoroughly cleaned out of the house. Clothes, accessories, even the toothbrush in the bathroom were gone. Lucas felt a wave of intense panic wash over him. Right, the phone, he had to call her immediately. But when he opened his phone, he saw the message she had sent him. Lucas felt his head spin. His hands trembling, he opened the screenshots one by one. They were all insults from Sophia directed at him. Sophia, after reading them. Lucas couldn't control himself anymore. He knelt on the ground, shouting Sophia's name angrily, his heart filled with hatred. After a while, he stood up and walked toward the company with a grim expression. He planned to find Sophia and get to the bottom of this. On the way, Lucas kept calling me, but he couldn't reach me. He asked all his friends, but no one had heard anything about me. Lucas's expression grew increasingly grim. Evelyn had disappeared mysteriously. When I arrived at the company, I saw Sophia there as expected. Lucas glared at her angrily. Before she could react, Lucas grabbed her hair, dragged her into the office, and locked the door. At that moment, Lucas looked truly terrifying. He grabbed Sophia by the neck, glaring at her and said, "Didn't I tell you not to go after my wife? Who do you think you are? You're just a toy, and you dare to go after her. You even said those outrageous things. If it weren't for you, she might not have left me. Now I can't find her anywhere. You've really let me down. Tell me where she went, cough, cough, you. Let go of me." Lucas saw that Sophia couldn't speak, so he let go of her, but he continued to glare at her with a dark expression. Sophia looked at his fierce expression and finally felt afraid. She forced a smile and said, "Lucas, I really like you too. You always said her feet didn't interest you, right? Now that she's gone, I can stay by your side without any qualms." Before she could finish speaking, Lucas kicked her hard. "Who do you think you are? You actually dare to try to replace her?" Lucas glared at Sophia with eyes as sharp as knives, exuding coldness. Suddenly, the office door was violently knocked on, and the assistant's anxious voice came from outside. "Lucas, something's wrong. Come out and see." Lucas opened the door, wanting to know what had happened. Then his gaze froze. My face was now appearing on the TV on the wall. "Hello, I'm Evelyn, the former partner of renowned designer Lucas. Because he started a relationship with a very famous model named Sophia during our marriage, we got divorced." My face on the screen showed no expression, but the video that followed would shock everyone. Although it was blurred, everyone could still recognize the man and woman in the footage as Lucas and Sophia, whether it was in the office car or every corner of the house. These were all the videos I recorded with a camera during this time. Lucas and Sophia were completely shocked. The gazes of those around them began to change, and people started to blame them. "This is unbelievable. He always pretended to be a good husband, but who knew he had such a despicable side? What a disappointment. No wonder I noticed Sophia coming to the office every day lately. It was to meet someone else. This is so uncomfortable. This couple is way too much. They even dared to go to someone else's home and act like that. It's shocking. I used to be moved by their love story and thought Lucas was a good man for staying by his disabled wife's side. What a disappointment. Men are all the same. This is so uncomfortable. Lucas is the most despicable. As more videos were played, Lucas and Sophia were like two rats everyone hated, facing relentless criticism. Lucas couldn't stand the stares and retreated into the office. He stared blankly at his phone. I actually knew about this all along. No wonder he left so decisively, even refusing to say goodbye face to face. I'm currently sitting on Ryan's sofa, staring blankly at the videos released by the media. Lucas, I told you I was going to prepare a surprise for you. After watching this video, I wonder how you'll feel. Evelyn, have a cup of honey milk and relax tonight. Suddenly, a deep, magnetic voice interrupted my thoughts. I took the milk, and the tall, handsome man across from me gave me a slight smile. Thank you. Ryan. Ryan was my classmate from middle school to college. We used to get along well, but after I started dating Lucas, he suddenly disappeared. It wasn't until after my car accident that he found me again. He said he knew a medical professor who specialized in this type of surgery. The success rate was 50%, and if it worked, I could recover as well as before. If the surgery fails, there's a 50% chance I'll have to undergo amputation of my right leg, which means I'll have to live the rest of my life with a mechanical prosthetic limb. I was willing to take the risk because modeling is the career I've always loved. Even if it fails, I won't regret it. But when Lucas heard this, his expression changed instantly. He gripped my hand tightly, refusing to let me go through with the surgery, saying the cost of losing my right leg was too high, and he couldn't accept that outcome. We argued many times, but in the end, I gave in. Now, I just want to live for myself. Evelyn, have you made up your mind? The surgery is scheduled for next week. If you change your mind at any point, let me know. I will respect your decision. Seeing Ryan's serious and concerned expression, I felt moved. My parents died in a car accident, and I have no family left to rely on. That's probably why I trusted and relied on Lucas so much back then. I whispered, "Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. I won't change my mind. I've decided to go through with the surgery. Even if it fails, I won't regret it. Finally, I have one more request. I hope you can help me. I don't want Lucas to find out anything about me. Can you support me?" Ryan didn't ask any further questions. He just smiled and said, "Sure." Hearing his promise, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. I knew that with his connections and status, he could definitely make it happen. Lucas's company suffered significant losses due to the videos released by the media. The stock price plummeted, and employees began resigning one after another. Former partners and agents also demanded to terminate their contracts. The company was now nothing but an empty shell. At that moment, Lucas sat in the empty office, looking gloomy and lost in thought. In just 2 days, half of his hair had turned white. He had used all his connections to find me, but I was like I had vanished into thin air. How could he not find me? It was strange that there was no word at all. "Evelyn, where are you?" he muttered to himself, mechanically dialing my phone number. He hoped for a miracle, to hear my voice again. Unfortunately, that hope was doomed to remain unfulfilled. Suddenly, he heard someone ringing the doorbell. Could it be Evelyn? Has she come back, Evelyn? He thought it was me and rushed to the door, only to find a deliveryman standing there. It was just a delivery. "Lucas, right? There's a package here. It was sent 3 days ago by a woman named Evelyn, and the address is in the same city. If everything is okay, please sign here." Lucas heard it was from me, quickly signed his name, and then, trembling, opened the package with both hands. However, when he saw what was inside, his expression froze. It was a divorce agreement, and the fingerprints were already stamped. This can't be. I don't remember stamping my fingerprints. He saw a note with my handwriting. It read, "Lucas, I didn't drink the milk you gave me that night. I know you put sleeping pills in it. Later, I also added sleeping pill powder to the soup you drank. The fingerprint was left while you were asleep. These 2 things make us even." Lucas collapsed instantly after reading it, frantically pulling at his hair and shaking his head wildly. "No, Evelyn," he cried out in despair and collapsed on the floor. "I will undergo surgery in a week." I sat on the sofa, preparing to change my shoes. Suddenly, Ryan walked up to me, knelt down, and stared silently at my right foot. I felt a bit uncomfortable because that foot wasn't very attractive. Just as I was about to pull my foot back, I suddenly felt a pair of hands gently cradle it. I froze, staring at Ryan. What was he doing? I had never seen Ryan like this before. He looked at me with such focus and tenderness. Speaking slowly, Evelyn, I've been secretly in love with you for 15 years. For the past 15 years, the only person I've ever loved is you. I thought I would love you like this until I grew old. But fate has given me another chance. This time, I don't want to leave any regrets. You don't have to answer me right away. I want you to know that no matter the outcome of the surgery, you will always be the woman I love most in the world. You deserve the most beautiful love in this world. After saying this, he gently kissed my twisted right foot, as if it were a precious treasure. I couldn't help but shed tears. Actually, even with all my imperfections, there was someone who loved me so deeply. I didn't respond to Ryan immediately. I just felt a mix of emotions. Ryan didn't bring up the topic again, but stayed by my side, offering support, comfort, and encouragement. Until the moment I was lying on the operating table, my emotions suddenly became unprecedentedly calm. I closed my eyes, and many scenes flashed through my mind. Memories of Lucas and me, and scenes of him with Sophia. The final image was of Ryan confessing his feelings to me. I silently blessed them in my heart. Dad and Mom, I miss you so much. I wonder if you're watching over me from heaven. Then I completely lost consciousness. Wow, this is big news. The renowned model Evelyn is about to return. For more information, please click to view. When Lucas saw the news, he was sitting in a bar drinking. His hair was completely white, his beard was disheveled, and he had lost several pounds, looking exhausted. Since I left, his company couldn't survive, so he sold it. During the day, he constantly searched for news about me. And at night, he went to the bar to drink. Tonight was no exception. Unbeknownst to him, I overheard the people at the next table talking about me. He jumped up, grabbed the phone from the next table, and saw the bold headline. He read it with a smile, muttering to himself, "Evelyn is coming back. She's coming back. Ha ha ha, I've finally waited for you to come back, Evelyn." Before he could finish speaking, he was kicked to the ground. It turned out to be the man whose phone had been snatched. He tried to kick again, but was held back by his friends and left angrily, muttering under his breath. Lucas didn't pay attention to the insults. His mind fixated on the news that she was coming back. He struggled to his feet and staggered toward the door, only to be bumped by someone. He looked up and saw Sophia, the woman he knew so well. She was wearing a very revealing dress and was arm in arm with a middle-aged man who had put on weight. He recognized the man. He was a well-known capitalist in their circle, particularly fond of young, beautiful models. Sophia recognized him too, her eyes filled with contempt and sarcasm. No trace of the love she once felt. She spat at him and walked away in her high heels. Lucas watched Sophia's back, feeling deeply dissatisfied, but he had more important things to do. Lucas first went to a barber shop to dye his completely white hair black. Then he went home, took a hot shower, and shaved his face clean with a razor. After finishing, he smiled at himself in the mirror, thinking, Evelyn is about to return, and I can finally appear before her in this clean state. I'll apologize to her properly and tell her how much I love her. We've been together for so many years. She must still have feelings for me. The surgery went smoothly, and my right foot has fully recovered. What made me happiest was that the doctor said I could return to my modeling career once I had fully recovered. I was finally back, and in a completely new state. I reached out to many media outlets and planned to hold a press conference on the day of my return. Over the past few years, I lost a lot. However, luckily, life has been kind to me. Despite going through a failed marriage, it also brought me other things. Now, I rarely think about Lucas anymore. Occasionally, when I hear news about him, I just smile lightly, feeling nothing special. In the past, I felt immense pain because of him, unable to sleep at night, and every time I thought about his betrayal, it made me feel terrible. It was Ryan who stayed by my side, taking care of me with great care. Now, he holds no feelings for me in my heart. Indeed, time heals all wounds. Just 3 days after I returned to the country, everything was ready. The press conference was about to begin. I was wearing a red custom-made dress, and my favorite pair of high-heeled crystal shoes, smiling as I walked onto the stage. The media, seeing me finally arrive, rushed forward excitedly, asking me various questions nonstop. I waved my hand, gave a simple greeting, and then responded to each one in turn. Hello, everyone. I'm Evelyn. After many years, I've finally returned. At that moment, cheers erupted from the audience. I smiled and continued. Earlier, I underwent surgery abroad. The procedure was highly risky, with only a 50% chance of success. If it had failed, I might have had to undergo amputation. Fortunately, I made it through. Perhaps it was my parents' blessings that allowed me to once again wear my beloved high heels and return to the work I love. As soon as I finished speaking, the audience erupted into enthusiastic applause. Of course, I couldn't avoid being asked about my love life. After all, everyone knew about the scandal between Lucas and me at the time. Just as I was about to respond, I suddenly caught a glimpse of a familiar figure out of the corner of my eye. It was Lucas. He was wearing an expensive suit, but he looked gaunt and exhausted, with a pale complexion, and none of his former charm remained. He noticed I was looking at him and seemed to want to walk over from the corner. His lips twitched slightly, as if he wanted to say something. I looked away without any expression and smiled slightly at the camera. My unhappy marriage with Lucas is now completely over. I no longer have any feelings for him. Here, I want to thank someone. That person is Ryan, who said he had been secretly in love with me for 15 years. Before the surgery, he confessed his feelings to me, saying that no matter the outcome of the surgery, he would love me. I never responded to him, but now, I want to tell him that I feel the same way. It's not out of gratitude, I've actually fallen for him too. So, Ryan, can you hear me? I promise you, as soon as the words left my mouth. The venue erupted into a loud cheer. The crowd suddenly split into two sides. Ryan walked toward me with a bouquet of roses in his hands, a smile on his face. I looked at him excitedly. You said you had an emergency and couldn't come today. Silly, this is your most important moment. How could I miss it? I just wanted to give you a surprise and confess my feelings again. I didn't let him finish speaking. Instead, I leaned in and kissed him gently. He paused for a moment, then gently cupped my face and deepened the kiss. Everyone at the scene was screaming and offering their blessings. The last thing I saw was Lucas rushing away. But who cared later? Ryan took me on a tour of countries around the world. Every time we arrived in a new country, he would pull out a diamond ring and propose to me. I would smile and accept every time. Later, we held a very special wedding on a private island. 2 years later, I heard news about Sophia. It turned out she had chosen a wealthy man for resources and became pregnant. However, his wife discovered it. And one day she was attacked with acid on the street. When she was taken to the hospital, the baby had already died, and she suffered severe injuries. After staying in the hospital for a month, she couldn't survive and reportedly passed away in great pain. Meanwhile, Lucas, who had returned at the same time as me, was also involved in a scandal with Ryan. He had become a laughingstock in the industry and could no longer stay in that circle. With no other options, he decided to go abroad. Unfortunately, he became obsessed with street racing, and during one such race, his car plunged off a cliff. The car was destroyed, and he was killed. From that day onward, Lucas was no longer in this world. When I heard this, I was pushing my daughter on the swing. Mom, why did you stop? Ewan wants to play more. I was lost in thought when I suddenly heard my daughter's voice, pulling me back to reality, looking at her cute little face. I couldn't help but smile and started pushing the swing again. The past no longer matters. I have people who love me and people I love. I will live my life well and pursue happiness.